This is psychology. Psych is new to the town of Hopesville, a quaint little community surrounded by nature. He admires how the light of the autumn sun casts the town in a warm golden glow. Within a few minutes, he reaches his new house and starts to unpack his belongings. As Psych is about to return outside to grab a couple more boxes, a lady comes to greet him with a freshly baked blueberry pie. She introduces herself as Alice, his next-door neighbor, and hands him the delicious-looking pie. Psych takes it with a smile, nudging his door open wider and invites her in. Without warning, Alice clutches her head, face twisted in a pained grimace. Psych anxiously asks if she's alright, while mentally smacking himself for asking that when she's obviously not feeling alright. Alice waves her hand and cracks open her eyes. She looks taken aback. Alice tells Psych that his head is growing bigger and bigger like a balloon. Her eyes flicker to the doorway above him. "Everything is growing again," she says. Alice has Alice in Wonderland syndrome. This is a neuropsychological condition that affects perception. People with this syndrome view objects as smaller or larger than they actually are. They may experience distorted images of their own body parts and feel as if their body is inflating or shrinking. Additional symptoms include seeing straight lines as wavy lines, still objects that seem to move, and things that change color. Psych, being the nice person that he is, helps escort Alice home so that she can recover from her migraine. He stays with her until she stops seeing the world expanding, and then goes back home to finish unpacking his blankets. It doesn't take too long for him to finish moving. Since he didn't have lunch, and it's a really nice day, Psych decides to take his newly acquired pie out to a nearby park to enjoy. He relishes the taste of the sweet baked treat as he walks through the park. As he heads to the nearest trash can to dispose of the pie tin, he sees a man wearing a pizza delivery uniform lying in the middle of the path beside a box of pizza. Psych walks up to the man, noting that his name tag reads Kotard. Psych asks him what's wrong. Kotard stares blankly up at the sky, unblinking. It takes a while for Kotard to reply. The man croaks that he's decaying, dying, becoming one with the dirt. Psych is unsure how to respond to that, so he asks about the pizza instead. Kotard tonelessly tells Psych that his mother forced him to deliver the pizza, but he is dead already, so why does it matter? "I am nothing," he says. "I don't exist." Kotard suffers from Kotard delusion. Kotard delusion is the false belief of being dead, not existing, or having lost body parts. The main symptom is nihilism, the belief that nothing in life matters because it doesn't have value or meaning. People with this delusion are convinced that they no longer need food or water. Suicide attempts can happen because they want to prove themselves as already dead, and as such, can't die again, or because they want to be freed from a life that doesn't seem real. Psych pulls out his phone and calls the number on the pizza box. A woman answers, who turns out to be Kotard's mother. Psych explains the situation to her. After waiting for a while, a plump woman wearing an apron runs up to them. She thanks Psych several times and heaves her son up. Psych wishes Kotard well and offers to deliver the pizza. Kotard's mother thanks him for the nth time before giving him the address and the name of the person ordering, telling him that he can keep the money he gets for the pizza. Psych waves at the pair as he continues along the path, one hand holding the pizza and the other hand clutching his phone. He loves how convenient the map on his phone is. It doesn't take him long to reach a compact brick house. Balancing the pizza box against his hip, he reaches past the tangle vines to press the doorbell. Almost immediately, the door swings open and a lady tears the pizza box out of his hand before he can even blink. She mutters about how slow the pizza delivery was, looking at the cold pizza with distaste. Psych assumes that she is Miss Frugoli, who Kotard's mother told him to deliver the pizza to. She throws a handful of bills at him. Psych sighs and picks up the money from the ground, tucking the bills carefully into his pocket. When Psych looks back up, he is confused by the angry expression on her face. "Why are you still stalking me?" she snarls. "Leo, I can't believe you." Miss Frugoli has Frugoli syndrome, a rare disorder that makes her believe that other people are just the same person in disguise. People who suffer from Frugoli syndrome are paranoid that one person is following them around, and are fearful because the person is going through great lengths to change their disguise in order to continue stalking them. Their behavior can be explained by their associative nodes. Basically, they see someone that looks like a person they know, and they will believe that it's actually that person. Psych holds a hand up, shaking his head. He introduces himself and explains that he is certainly not Leo. No matter how much he tries to explain, Miss Frugoli doesn't listen, so he quietly leaves instead, hoping that she'll be able to work out her problems with this Leo guy. On his way home, he admires the fiery hues of the maple trees. He is interrupted by a man who hobbles up to him and asks for some help getting to the hospital. The man calls himself Munchausen, coughing violently after his introduction. Psych wraps an arm around the man and helps him get to the nearby hospital. After Munchausen gets his information filled out, he coughs out a thanks and tells Psych he can go. As Psych is leaving, he glances one more time behind him. Although Munchausen was coughing the entire time they were walking, he looks fine now, even smiling happily to himself. He immediately starts coughing again when a nurse walks by. Munchausen syndrome is a disorder where the person acts like they have physical, emotional, or cognitive disorders when they have actually caused the symptoms themselves. They will lie about fake symptoms, harm themselves to create real ones, or alter medical tests. Most symptoms are physical, like chest pain, stomach problems, and fever. Other signs include inconsistent medical history, eagerness to have medical tests taken, and faking symptoms only in the presence of others. Shrugging to himself, Psych finally manages to head home, his short trip to the park having turned into a 3-hour-long trip around town. He's been walking for quite some time, and he feels tired enough to go to bed. He makes his way up the stairs. Psych rummages through his bag to find his toiletries, goes through his evening routine, and crawls into his bed. He's just about to fall asleep when a terrible, yet familiar itching sensation overtakes his legs. Psych groans, kicking his legs out. Psych has restless leg syndrome, a neurological sleep disorder that is characterized by uncontrollable urges to move the legs or arms when lying down. It causes uncomfortable sensations in the limbs, and is usually worse at night when they are resting. Since the syndrome can delay a person from sleeping or wake them up, the person suffers from daytime sleepiness and low energy. Psych is saved from having to keep trying to sleep with his itching legs when the doorbell rings. He leaps out of bed and runs down the stairs, taking the steps 2 at a time. He flings the door open to see Alice. She smiles at him, thanking him for the help with her migraine earlier. Alice hands him an envelope and explains that the community knows of his plight, as they always get info about newcomers to the town. They wanted to make him feel welcome, so everyone contributed to a list of exercises that he could do whenever he felt like he needed to move. She also passes him a bright pink yoga mat, a gift that everyone chipped in to get for him. She pats him on the shoulder before going back to her own home. Psych is touched by the care that they have shown for him, a complete stranger. He places the yoga mat gently beside him, and then carefully tears the envelope open. Inside, there is a list of exercises as promised. In addition, there is a small card with beautiful cursive words written on it. The card reads, "We are all human. We all deserve hope." That night, Psych slept until the sun rose. It was the best night of rest he could ever remember.